King Rex coming at you with a video on the rules of the game of Monopoly. I'm going to go over the official rules and clear up misconceptions with a lot of rules that people have or things they simply don't know about them. First, I'll go over the benefits. The first benefit is the game will be shorter. The reason why is because most house rules that people make up interject a lot of cash into the game. And since the object of the game is to bankrupt all your opponents, the more cash put into the game, the longer the game will last. And many times all that money does is just extend the game out, making it take forever to bankrupt a player or two because they get lucky and hit a big jackpot or something. Secondly, games will be more skill-based because the money added into the game is not always added in an equitable manner. One player will get really lucky and another player will have really bad luck. And also there's a balance to the properties, and one of the determining factors of what group is the strongest at any particular time is how much money is actually in the game. When there's not a lot of money in the game, the most powerful property is actually the light blue because you can build it up quickly and knock the other players out. And if there's a whole lot of money in the game, the best property group is the green because you have plenty of money to build that monopoly up and beat everyone else because it has such heavy rents. Also, another big benefit is there would be less fighting and confusion because whenever there is a dispute over a rule, you can simply pull out the official rules that come with your Monopoly game and settle the dispute. So you're playing by the official rules. People won't fight back and forth as to what the rules are. People will try to change the rules to benefit them at that certain time. And it clears up confusion because the rules are mostly clear, and I'll clear up anything that's not clear in this video. You can use these explanations when you are playing against others in the future. The first thing is buying properties. There's nowhere in the rule book that you have to go around the board once before buying properties. In fact, this is very counterproductive because all it does is add a lot of time to the game because it takes roughly 6 turns to cross go for the first time. So you're going to have like 5 turns when you're not allowed to buy any properties at all. So it's kind of boring and a waste of time. And as you go around the board, you actually earn money until houses and hotels are built. When you think about it, every time you cross a go, you get $200. 3/4 of the cards that pay money out in the community chest deck pay money. Only 9 pay money. 3 of them take money. And you really don't hit the taxes on the board very often, the 2 spots to have those taxes. So generally speaking, you will be collecting money going around the board, even if you're not paying any rents. They say about 175 for each time you go around is supposed to be the average that you would collect. Also, if you decide, so when you roll the dice that first time, let's say you roll a 6, you land on Oriental Avenue. It costs $100. You can immediately pay that and get Oriental Avenue. If you decide you do not want Oriental Avenue, you can put it up. It goes immediately up for auction. Properties do not stay in the bank when they're not bought. They are auctioned by the bank to get them out into the game, which makes the game, once again, go faster. The auction can be for any price. If only one player wants the property and they bid $1 and no one else bids against them, they win that property for $1. The properties can go up to as high as anyone has the ability to pay. If it's $1,000, they can pay $1,000. Also, there is no restriction on who can bid on the property. Any player in the game can. So if player A lands on Connecticut, says he doesn't want to buy, he can still bid on that property. He has no restrictions. He can bid as much as he wants. I read online somewhere where someone said that a person refusing to buy a property at face value could only bid up to the face value. No, they're allowed to bid over face value. So no restrictions there. The only restrictions in bidding is that you're not allowed to pay a player something to stop them from bidding. For example, I can't go to a player and say, hey, I'll give you $50 if you quit bidding against me, or I'll sell you Reading Railroad for $1 if you don't bid against me on Boardwalk, because I really want Boardwalk. No side deals like that. You can only bid on the properties. If it happens at some point where a property is bid up to a price, let's say Boardwalk goes up to $800, the person that bid on Boardwalk cannot raise the $800. You can raise the money either through cash that you have on hand, by selling houses and hotels, by mortgaging your properties, or by selling properties to other players. If you can't do this, this has happened at least twice in Monopoly tournaments, and there were two separate rulings. The first person ruled that the person who bid on the property and could not purchase it went bankrupt, and the bank took all of his properties from him and auctioned them off, including the property he couldn't pay the bid for. The second ruling, both these were done by official Monopoly judges in different tournaments, stated that the property went to the second highest bidder at their high bid. So if, say, the person bid $750 and then someone said, I'll pay $800, and the person won it for $800, they can't pay, the person pays $750. You cannot take a property mortgage to pay part of the bid. For example, let's say I won Boardwalk. I can't say, well, give it to me mortgaged. Say I want it for $800. Say, oh, just give it to me mortgaged and I'll give you $600. No, I have to pay the $800. Then I can mortgage it if I like to get $200 back. But I have to be able to pay the full $800 to get it. Going to jail. This one there's some disputes on because there's so many ways you can go to jail and situations that can happen. If you roll, first and foremost, if you roll doubles 3 times, you go to jail. Let's just do an example. Let's say you roll double 4s and land on Vermont Avenue, purchase it, you're the first player to go, roll double 3s, get a 6. Then on Virginia Avenue, purchase it, then you roll double 5s, which would land you on Illinois Avenue, but since you roll doubles 3 times, you go directly to jail. You don't land on Illinois Avenue. Your turn ends at that point. Also, let's say you roll snake eyes, double 1s on the first turn of the game, and you hit the community chest, and you get the community chest card that says go to jail. Your turn's over. You don't get to roll again like you normally do when you roll doubles. The third thing that can happen that's kind of confusing. Let's say someone's sitting on Boardwalk. They roll double 4s. It's the third time they roll doubles in a row. They don't pass go. They go directly to jail, so they don't get the benefit of going around go in that third doubles. Now, if they're sitting on Boardwalk and they just roll an 8, and it's not the third time they roll doubles, let's say they roll a 5 and a 3, and they land on chance, they get the $200 for passing go, regardless of what that chance card is. And then when they pull the chance card, if it's go to jail, they don't lose their $200 go money. They just go to jail because they passed go before they landed on chance. So you don't lose your go money by getting a go to jail card after crossing go. Also, when you are in jail, you can collect all rents due to you. You're allowed to collect rent. You are allowed to buy houses and hotels, and you are allowed to make trades with other players. There is no restriction on activities you can do in the game from jail. The only restriction is that you're stuck in jail and you either have to pay $50 to get out, use a get out of jail free card, or roll doubles within 3 turns to get out. Mortgage and property. When you mortgage a property, you get half the value of the property, which is the mortgage value. Boardwalk's got a face value of $400, so the mortgage value is $200. When you unmortgage the property, you have to pay 10%. If you've mortgaged a property, like say Park Place over here, where the mortgage value is $175, when you get it out of mortgage, you have to pay $18. You have to round up. Now, if you're in a situation where you have 2 properties mortgaged that would have to be rounded up, like let's say you mortgaged both utilities, but now you're pulling them out of mortgage, it would be 75 as the mortgage value plus 8 for one of them to come out. But if you're doing both of them at once, it'd be 150 plus 10%, so you'd save $1, just be $15. Also, if you take if someone transfers a property, say I sell you Boardwalk mortgaged, you do not have to unmortgage it immediately, but you do have to immediately pay the 10% interest. So you have to pay the bank $20. If you don't unmortgage it, and then you turn around and unmortgage your property a few turns later in the future, you would have to pay the $20 again. So you'd have to pay the interest twice if you don't unmortgage it right away. Trading properties. Anytime you trade properties or anything else, you can only trade properties, cash, on hand, and get out of jail free cards. And you have to have all the assets you're trading at the time. You cannot trade any type of future considerations. You cannot give someone 3 free rents on the property. You can't make a deal that says, hey, if I get the third yellow, I'll sell it to you at face value. You can't make a deal that says, if you trade me, there's a housing shortage right now, you get me the red monopoly, I'll build up 3 houses, I'll build up to hotels on them, and then you can buy houses on your properties if you get one. I'll stay at 4 houses and I'll go to hotels when you need to buy the houses, so you're allowed to purchase houses. You can't do those types of deals. You have the properties you have, money you have, get out of jail free card you have. You can't sell houses or hotels. You can't make future promises. You can't give them immunity. You can't give them something outside the game. Like you can say, hey, sell me Boardwalk. I'll hand you $20. Nothing like 20 actual dollars, not 20 Monopoly money. No such things in trades. I've seen a lot of times online where people make these trades that are outside the rules of the game. Not allowed to do that. Building houses and hotels. The game has 12 hotels and 32 houses exactly. If you're missing some, get something to substitute for some of the houses or hotels that are missing. If you have extras, don't use them while playing the game. Basically, the way it works is if there's not enough houses because to buy a hotel, you have to be able to buy 4 houses on each property, and then a fifth, then you can move up to hotels. So if there's only, let's say you have the orange properties and there's only 6 houses left in the game, that's all you can build. And if you have enough money to go to hotels, you're not allowed to build them. Also, let's say there's only 3 houses left in the game and you have hotels on the orange, but you have to pull a hotel off to pay the rent on a property you landed on. You have to unbuild evenly, so you have to go down to those 3 houses. You don't need enough houses, you don't need 12 houses in the bank to be able to take hotels off, but you have to go down to what's ever left in the bank. So because I've seen it online where some of these monopoly programs are wrong, where if someone has hotels and there's not 12 houses in the game, they can't take their 3 hotels off to go down to 12 houses. So there's only 3 houses in the game, they're locked at hotels now. You just have to sell your houses all the way down to those 3 houses. You have to sell the hotel and a few houses off each property to build what's left. You don't get locked in on hotels and forced to go bankrupt with hotels. So if I have the 5 hotels, let's say I have hotels on the orange ones, each hotel costs $500. There's only 3 houses in the bank. I can sell the hotels back. I'd have to sell back basically 4 houses off each property, which would give me $200, and I'd have 3 houses left. You're not allowed to sell houses or transfer them. You're not allowed to make promises that, hey, I'll go up to hotels when you get a monopoly. Or if you give me your 4 railroads, I'll put hotels on Mediterranean Baltic, so it opens up 8 houses for you to buy. Those type of deals are not allowed. Going bankrupt. When you go bankrupt, it's pretty easy what happens. Basically, if you cannot pay your debt, you can go bankrupt to either the player's property you landed on or the bank. Let's say all you have in your possession is 5 mortgage properties and $40, and you land on go to jail, and you're in jail, and you don't roll doubles all 3 times. If you can't buy a get out of jail free card off someone for $40, you go bankrupt to the bank and they auction off all your properties one at a time, take whatever money you have in your possession. If you go bankrupt to another player, you cannot pay them, they get all your properties. You cannot spite mortgage on them. Let's say you have 5 properties, but 3 of them are railroads and the railroads are not mortgaged. You can't mortgage the 3 railroads and then give them the money to force them to have to unmortgage them and cost them $30 extra. Also, you cannot make a deal with another player to sell them properties if you can't make enough cash to pay your full bill. So let's say I land on a property that's got an $800 rent. Let's say I only have enough assets to cover $650 of that. If I mortgage all my properties and all my cash. I can't sell all my properties to someone for $1. I'd have to sell them for at least enough, $150, to cover the rent that I owe. So I could choose who I sell my properties to and say, this is how much I got, this is how much I need to sell them the properties. I have no money, and just go out at that point. I think you could also go bankrupt at any point in the game you want, and just go bankrupt to the bank. Let's say you went around the board several times, you're sitting on the just visiting square, you have like 2 properties, all the properties are out, you have some cash, you can say, well, I'm done, hand your cash into the bank, and the bank can just auction off your 2 properties if that's what you want to do. So basically, you go bankrupt to a person, they get your properties, you cannot sell off assets for less than what you owe to kind of spite a player you're going bankrupt to. On the flip side, let's say I land on a property and the rent's $800, and after selling all my houses and hotels and taking all the cash I have in hand, I don't have $800. I don't have to mortgage properties to keep from going bankrupt. I can just give them my properties and give them my cash. So if I could, say, mortgage a property and get enough money where I wouldn't go completely bankrupt, I could say, oh, I'm going bankrupt. I don't have enough to pay this guy. Also, landing on free parking and go. There is no jackpot that's supposed to be under free parking. When you land on just a free space, if it was a jackpot space, it would say jackpot on it. This makes the game last forever when you have a free parking jackpot, because lo and behold, someone's almost out of the game, the next property hit's going to put them out. They hit free parking, get $1,000, and they're back in it. There's also no special reward for landing directly on go. Some people say you get $200 for landing on go, and then another $200 for passing. You just get the $200 once. There's also no special reward if you roll snake eyes. For some reason, some players get $1,000 every time they roll snake eyes, which is a ridiculous infusion of cash into the game. I know some people give like 50 or 100 something. There's no rule that gives you money for rolling snake eyes or anything like that. Play by the official rules. You'll have a fun game, you'll have a skillful game, and you'll have a game that doesn't last too long. And you'll also have disputes automatically settled by the rules, which is where you won't get the hurt feelings from other players. So I want to thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and follow, comment, and have a great day.